Namaste everyone, welcome back to Suvi English channel. In today's session, I am going to discuss an interesting short story titled Self-Made Men, written by a Canadian writer Stephen Leacock. Before we start our discussion, let's first understand the title Self-Made Men. Who are self-made men? The people who achieve something in their life without any support or help are really self-made men. And also women. We see many such self-made men and women in India. An ordinary bus conductor has become superstar in India. Superstar Rajinikanth. A son of an ordinary RTC bus driver has become superstar Yash with his movie KGF. An ordinary Muslim boy from Tamil Nadu became the President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam started his journey from Rameshwaram and he reached Rashtrapati Bhavan. He was actually self-made man. Not only this, we have many such self-made men and women in our families also. They are actually superstars. And the story we have with us, self-made men, is about such achievers. And in this story, self-made men, we have two self-made men. They are Robinson and Jones. And the story begins at a first-class restaurant, a very expensive hotel where Mr. Jones and Robinson were seated to have dinner. And this was after they became very rich. They had built so much wealth and they became successful businessmen. They wore heavy signet rings and they wore a costly outfit. They both were seated opposite to each other and waiting for the waiter. But as the waiter was attending the other customers, both Robinson and Jones started talking about their past. Each one of them tried to express the struggles, the hardships, the difficult times that they had faced in New York. Mr. Robinson started first. He said that he was doing many uphill tasks when he came to New York for the first time, and he had only 15 cents, and he was sleeping in an old tar barrel. This was the hardship that was faced by Mr. Robinson. And Robinson also commented that his friend Mr. Jones had no idea about that kind of hardships. Mr. Jones heard this comment from Robinson and he countered saying that he too had such struggles, and he said that he didn't have any money. At least Mr. Robinson had 15 cents when he came to New York. But Mr. Jones had no money. He didn't have even single cent. Robinson had 15 cents with which he could survive for a few days. But Mr. Jones had zero. He was having no money at all. And as far as sleeping was concerned, Mr. Jones was sleeping in an old piano box behind a factory. And after this, Mr. Robinson said that he could not sleep during winter nights due to heavy cold, extreme cold. He used to be awake, shivering all the night. That was the hardship faced by Robinson. And listening to this kind of argument or comment from Robinson, Mr. Jones also said that he too had that problem. He too had such difficulties because there was a hole in the piano box through which there was a cool wind coming, and he used to awake shivering all the night. And Mr. Jones remarked saying that though he was sleeping in an old piano box in that extreme cold, he had some best memories. Some of the sweetest days were spent in that old piano box, according to Mr. Jones. So he said that even Robinson would not have such kind of memories. He said that he had the sweetest memories in that old piano box. And when Robinson heard this, he also claimed that he too had some best memories, because he used to have two three friends who would come to his place, that old tar barrel, and they would sit together and they would play Pedro cards. They would play Pedro by the candlelight of the night. And he said that he too had such memories, spending time with friends, playing that games and all, though he was in that tar barrel. And listening to this, Mr. Jones said that he had 6 friends and they too used to play games. Robinson had only 2-3 friends, and Mr. Jones claimed that he had 6 friends, half a dozen. So his friends, 6 friends would come and they would sit and they would play games like Pedro and Charades, Dam Charade we call, Charades and Forfeit, many other games they would play. And he said that his was the best life despite the hardships. And he also continued saying that his friends and he were sitting to eat some potato peels. You know, potato peel. They did not have rich food. They had no money, but they were very happy. All the food they were eating was potato peels and some broken pie crust. That was the kind of food that was eaten by Jones and his friends. And he commented that Robinson had no such kind of hardships. When Robinson heard about the food that was mentioned by Mr. Jones, Robinson also started talking about the food that he was eating. He said that he used to beg for some cold porridge. Porridge means ganji. So porridge, cold, not hot, not fresh, which is almost rotten. So he used to beg for that kind of food. Arrow, Mr. Robinson. And he also used to beg for some bran mash, which was meant for pigs, animals. That kind of food he was eating. Like this, they both were trying to prove that each one of them had the greater hardships in their life when they came to New York. But now they are not in that condition. They have become very rich. And meanwhile, the waiter came and he asked what he had to bring for dinner. When there was a discussion going on about food, they initially ordered some cold porridge and some skimmed milk, and later after some time they changed their decision and ordered for some good food like some soup, some hot porridge and some seafood, rich food, and they had a very good meal at that first class restaurant, and they left. And after this incident they often meet, but they do not discuss about that old tar barrel and piano box. So this is all about the story Self-Made Men. Thank you for watching.
Now let's look at the 2-mark questions from this story. The first question is, where did the 2 self-made men meet for dinner? The answer is, they met at a first-class restaurant. Let's go to second question. How much money did Robinson have when he first came to New York? He had only 15 cents when he first came to New York. Next question. What was John's financial position when he first came to New York? Now we learnt about Robinson. Now let's see how much money did Jones have when he came to New York. How much he had? He had no money at all. At least Robinson had 15 cents, but Jones had no money. Let's move on to the next question. Where was Robinson sleeping? So he was sleeping in an empty tar barrel. When Robinson had come to New York for the first time, so he had no place to sleep. So he found an empty tar barrel for sleeping. So the next question, where was Jones sleeping? Like Robinson, Jones also had to struggle a lot. He also had no place to sleep. So the only place that he had to sleep was an old piano box. So what is the question? Where was Jones sleeping? He was sleeping in an old piano box behind a factory. And the next question is, what food was eaten by Jones? So he was eating potato peels and broken pie crust. And what about Robinson? How would he manage to have his breakfasts? He would beg for some cold porridge and some bran mash, right? So that was the kind of food both Robinson and Jones were eating. Now let's look at this next question. How many friends did Robinson have? So Robinson had 2-3 friends. And how many friends did Jones have? Jones had 6 friends. And what games would Robinson and his friends play? They would play Pedro. And what about Jones and his friends? Jones would play Pedro, charades, and forfeit with his friends. So that's all about the story. Self made men. Thank you.